English verbs have three moods: indicative, imperative, and subjunctive. Subjunctive expresses wishes, suggestions, doubts, and future plusquando situations. There are three different types of the subjunctive tense that we use. These types are the past, present, and future subjunctive.
Subjunctive is necessary to use when expressing an uncertain wish. However, you only need to use subjunctive when you wish for someone else. In other words, subjunctive is not needed when wishing for yourself. You need to use subjunctive because there is no guarantee that it will happen. Along with wishing for something, you need to use subjunctive when wishing for something not to happen.
Okay, so if you wanted to use subjunctive to write I want Julia and Robert to dance, you would write it like this. You would say yo quiero que Julia y Robert bailen. If you wanted to say I want you to dance with Julia, you could say quiero que bailes con Julia. And if you wanted to say I don't want you to not dance with Julia, you could say no quiero que no bailes con Julia. So you don't need subjunctive when you're talking about yourself. So you wouldn't need to use a subjunctive when you want to say yo quiero bailar, yo quiero comer, or yo quiero jugar, because you're wishing about yourself.
We use subjunctive while expressing doubt because doubt indicates that a person thinks something is unreal or hypothetical. To doubt is to question its connection with reality, making it uncertain. The subjunctive is not necessary when you are certain about something. If you don't doubt, you are certain. Subjunctive is necessary when you want to say, I doubt that the Steelers will win the Super Bowl again. It's also necessary when you would want to say something like, I doubt that she is coming to school today. Another example would be, I doubt that they are going to win it.
The subjunctive is used with impersonal expressions in a sentence. These expressions introduce an aspect of uncertainty or subjectivity. Some trigger examples of these impersonal expressions include es bueno que, es difícil que, es fácil que, es terrible que, es mejor que, or es necesario que. One example when you need to use the subjunctive is when you're trying to say, it's necessary that Abby reads the book. You would say, es necesario que Abby lea, that's your subjunctive verb, este libro. Another example is when you're saying, it's probable that we will go to the beach. You would say, es probable que vayamos, that's your subjunctive verb, a la playa. The last example is when you're trying to say, it's strange that I received a present because it is not my birthday. You would say, es extraño que reciba, that's your subjunctive verb, un regalo, porque no es mi cumpleaños. Sentences that are expressing facts or beliefs are not subjunctive. The trigger words of facts or beliefs include creer que, saber que, pensar que, es obviar que. Some examples would be, if you wanted to say, I think that the movie Up is excellent, you would say, creo que la película Up es excelente. Another example is if you were trying to say, it's obvious that dogs are better than cats. You would say, es obvio que los perros son mejores que los gatos. The last example is if you were trying to say, You know that 2 plus 2 is 4. You would say, tú sabes que dos más dos son cuatro. Subjunctive follows cuando when the verb is in the future. This depends on whether the action of the verb has been completed. When the verb is referring to an event that has yet to occur and the sentence has cuando, you use the subjunctive. Here are 3 examples. The first one is if you wanted to say, we will arrive when we must and not before. You would say, llegaremos cuando debamos y no antes. Your subjunctive verb being debamos. The next example is if you wanted to say, you will look in my eyes when you speak. You would say, mirarás a mis ojos cuando hables. Hables would be your subjunctive verb. The last example is if you wanted to say, we will do it when we are able to. You would say, vamos a hacerlo cuando seamos capaces. The subjunctive is not needed when the verb following cuando is something that already occurred or is occurring. In this instance, you would use the indicative. Some examples include, if you wanted to say, I don't know when was the last time, you would say, no sé cuándo fue la última vez. If you wanted to say, nobody pays me when I am sick, you would say, nadie me paga cuando estoy enfermo. The last example is if you were going to say, I want to know when to use the subjunctive. You would say, quiero que saber cuando se usa el subjuntivo.
You now know when it is appropriate to use subjunctive in Spanish. We hope you understand when and when it's not necessary to use subjunctive when expressing wishes, doubts, impersonal expressions, and the cuando plus future subjunctive formula.